desperate thoughts, and longed with impatient desire for death, but who has, at length, trampled the phantom under foot and crushed his sting. Come, as you have played despair with me, I will play the part of Una with you, and bring you hurtless from his dark cavern. Listen to me, and let yourself be softened by words in which no selfish passion lingers. We know not what all this wide world means, its strange mixture of good and evil. But we have been placed here, and bid live and hope. I know not what we are to hope, but there is some good beyond us that we must seek, and that is our earthly task. If misfortune come against us, we must fight with her, we must cast her aside, and still go on to find out that which it is our nature to desire. Whether this prospect of future good be the preparation for another existence, I know not, or whether that it is merely that we, as workmen in God's vineyard, must lend a hand to smooth the way for our posterity. If it indeed be that, if the efforts of the virtuous now are to make the future inhabitants of this fair world more happy, if the labours of those who cast aside selfishness and try to know the truth of things are to free the men of ages, now far distant, but which will one day come, from the burden under which those who now live groan, and like you weep bitterly, if they free them but from one of what are now the necessary evils of life, truly I will not fail, but will with my whole soul aid the work. From my youth I have said, I will be virtuous, I will dedicate my life for the good of others, I will do my best to extirpate evil, and if the Spirit who protects ill should so influence circumstances that I should suffer through my endeavour, yet while there is hope, and hope there ever must be, of success, cheerfully do I gird myself to my task. I have powers, my countrymen think well of them. Do you think I sow my seed in a barren air, and have no end in what I do? Believe me, I will never desert life until this last hope is torn from my bosom, that in some way my labours may form a link in the chain of gold with which we ought all to strive to drag happiness from where she sits enthroned above the clouds, now far beyond our reach, to inhabit the earth with us. Let us suppose that Socrates, or Shakespeare, or Rousseau had been seized with despair and died in youth when they were as young as I am. Do you think that we and all the world should not have lost incalculable improvement in our good feelings and our happiness through their destruction? I am not like one of these. They influenced millions. But if I can influence but 100, but 10, but one solitary individual, so as in any way to lead him from ill to good, that will be a joy to repay me for all my sufferings, though they were 1,000,000 times multiplied, and that hope will support me to bear them. And those who do not work for posterity, or working, as may be my case, will not be known by it, yet they, believe me, have also their duties. You grieve because you are unhappy. It is happiness you seek, but you despair of obtaining it. But if you can bestow happiness on another, if you can give one other person only 1 hour of joy, ought you not to live to do it? And every one has it in their power to do that. The inhabitants of this world suffer so much pain. In crowded cities, among cultivated plains, or on the desert mountains, pain is thickly sown, and if we can tear up but one of these noxious weeds, or more, if in its stead we can sow one seed of corn, or plant one fair flower, let that be motive sufficient against suicide. Let us not desert our task while there is the slightest hope that we may in a future day do this. Indeed, I dare not die. I have a mother whose support and hope I am, I have a friend who loves me as his life, and in whose breast I should infix a mortal sting if I ungratefully left him. So I will not die. Nor shall you, my friend. Cheer up, cease to weep, I entreat you. Are you not young, and fair, and good? Why should you despair? Or if you must for yourself, why for others? If you can never be happy, can you never bestow happiness? Oh, believe me, if you beheld on lips pale with grief one smile of joy and gratitude, and knew that you were parent of that smile, and that without you it had never been, you would feel so pure and warm a happiness that you would wish to live for ever again and again to enjoy the same pleasure. Come, I see that you have already cast aside the sad thoughts that you before frantically indulged. Look in that mirror. When I came your brow was contracted, your eyes deep sunk in your head, your lips quivering, your hands trembled violently when I took them. But now all is tranquil and soft. You are grieved, and there is grief in the expression of your countenance, but it is gentle and sweet. You allow me to throw away this cursed drink. You smile. Oh, congratulate me. Hope is triumphant, and I have done some good. These words are shadowy as I repeat them, but they were indeed words of fire, and produced a warm hope in me, I, miserable wretch, to hope, that tingled like pleasure in my veins. He did not leave me for many hours, not until he had improved the spark that he had kindled, and with an angelic hand fostered the return of something that seemed like joy. He left me, but I still was calm, and after I had saluted the starry sky and dewy earth with eyes of love and a contented good night, I slept sweetly, visited by dreams, the first of pleasure I had had for many long months. But this was only a momentary relief, and my old habits of feeling returned, for I was doomed, while in life, to grieve, and to the natural sorrow of my father's death and its most terrific cause, imagination added a tenfold weight of woe. I believed myself to be polluted by the unnatural love I had inspired, and that I was a creature cursed and set apart by nature. I thought that, like another Cain, I had a mark set on my forehead to show mankind that there was a barrier between me and they. Woodville had told me that there was in my countenance an expression as if I belonged to another world. So he had seen that sign, and there it lay, a gloomy mark to tell the world that there was that within my soul that no silence could render sufficiently obscure. Why, when fate drove me to become this outcast from human feeling, this monster with whom none might mingle in converse and love, why had she not from that fatal and most accursed moment shrouded me in thick mists, and placed real darkness between me and my fellows, so that I might never more be seen? And as I passed, like a murky cloud loaded with blight, they might only perceive me by the cold chill I should cast upon them, telling them, how truly, that something unholy was near. Then I should have lived upon this dreary heath unvisited, and blasting none by my unhallowed gaze. Alas! I verily believe that if the near prospect of death did not dull and soften my bitter feelings, if for a few months longer I had continued to live as I then lived, strong in body, but my soul corrupted to its core by a deadly cancer, if day after day I had dwelt on these dreadful sentiments, I should have become mad, and should have fancied myself a living pestilence, so horrible to my own solitary thoughts did this form, this voice, and all this wretched self appear, for had it not been the source of guilt that wants a name? This was superstition. I did not feel thus frantically when first I knew that the holy name of father was become a curse to me, but my lonely life inspired me with wild thoughts. And then when I saw Woodville, and day after day he tried to win my confidence, and I never dared give words to my dark tale, I was impressed more strongly